Kia ora mai anō. Thank you for joining in. Welcome to a new live on a new day. And I guess Wednesday. So just to explain why we're changing, I put up a poll last week and asked for people's feedback about what day we should do the live stream. The reason why I originally chose Thursday was because I had some free time then, but I've had a number of comments from people saying, oh, Wednesday is probably a good day. So I thought I'd ask everyone. Now, of all the people that put into the poll or the form, oh, kia ora waifi. One person said they preferred a different day, and then of all the rest, 80% of people asked for Wednesday. So we've decided to put it on Wednesday. If you're coming here on Thursday, then you can still watch your replay. And of course, you can always post up questions and I'll come back and answer them. So yeah, that's why we're moving to Wednesdays, and we'll see how this goes. So don't forget to chicken in and let us know you're here. So, hard to be serious. So this month is UnPowerPoint month, and the whole kaupapa of UnPowerPoint is to actually use PowerPoint, but for totally other reasons other than a presentation. Because I think it's one of the most powerful bits of software that we have if we can apply a bit of creativity and a bit of creative thought to it. So I just wanted to show you some of the things that we can actually do. So today we're going to have a look at graphics and just some simple graphics in PowerPoint and what we can do with it, and how we can manipulate graphics and also manipulate the size of the file, and just how we can be a bit creative with what we do in PowerPoint. Now, while we're looking at stuff that isn't a presentation, all of these skills will transfer to helping you when you do come to making presentations if you're using PowerPoint to do that. So let's get started. Okay. Let's see. Right, so here I have my computer and I've got PowerPoint. Now, this is one that I was tutoring with earlier, and so this is what we're going to kind of create. And we'll have a look at that. So just go File, New. Now, the first thing we want to do is actually change our file size. Kia ora Dahlia, thanks for chickening in. That's the best looking chicken I've seen ever in a chat. Right, so I'm going to get rid of the boxes that are here by default, and I'm going to change the size. So I want to come to Design, and then over on the right hand side is a slide size. And we've got standard 3x4, that's the old slide size. The new ones for widescreens are 16:9, but I want to custom, and I can actually change to different things. So I can go A3 paper, A4 paper, which is what we can use most of all, or we can put in our widths ourselves. So if we know we've got a certain poster size or something like that, we can do that. So I'm just going to choose A3 paper. I'm going to keep it landscape, but we can change it to portrait if we want. And I'm just going to go okay, and then maximize or ensure fit, it doesn't really matter. Okay, so that's an A3 size paper in landscape. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to come in and start pasting in some pictures, and let's see what we can create. So I'm going to use a website called Pixabay, which I've been using for years. All of these pictures are royalty free, which means there's no payment for them, but also we don't have to necessarily give give credit to the creator of that image. What you have to realize is that Pixabay, while it's free, it does have to pay its bills. So we often will get rows of ads to other image websites. Pixabay does more than that. It also does videos, music, sound effects, GIFs. But we'll just look at the pictures, and I'm going to choose, well, let's see, what could our kaupapa be? I'll do music. Or actually, I'll do musician. Okay. So here we've got a top row, and if we look, sponsored images, iStop. Okay. So the first top row are actually sponsored images. I want to scroll down past them, and I'm going to choose, let's see. I'm going to choose this picture. Now, what we can also do up the top is we can choose authentic only, which means we're not going to get AI generated images. And when I do that, it changes what we see. I can also ask it just for photos. So we don't want vectors or illustrations. So this kind of cat on a drum set is an illustration. So if we don't want that kind of stuff, which we don't, we can come and choose, just show us photos. And shall I get that one? No, I'll get this one just because it's color. Okay. I'm going to choose that. I'm going to right click. I'll copy it. Copy image. And then I'll just paste it in. Okay. I'll also just paste in the chat the website Pixabay, but also a couple of other websites where we can get free images or royalty-free images. Okay. Now the first thing I want to do is I want to cut out all of the background. Now there's other tools that allow us to do this now, especially with AI. They're not in PowerPoint yet, but we can use this tool, remove background. It'll try and figure out the background. It doesn't do a great job, but we use these tools here where it's mark areas to keep and mark areas to remove. I'm going to start with mark areas to keep. I'll click that, and I'm just going to draw little bits around it does a funny job as it tries to figure out what it is we want to keep, and it is going to change it, but actually that's starting to get there. That bow is going to be a bit hard, but that's okay. We can deal with that. We're missing part of his neck and collar. There we go, that's better. A little bit of a head. The contrast in that area isn't that great, so. Okay, that's not too bad. That'll do for now. I can go the other way and go mark areas to remove, and it will remove that stuff. But let's put them back. Remove those areas. Okay, and let's keep changes. Now I can always come back in here and refine it, so it's not set in stone. Okay, and then I'm just going to move it down somewhere here. Now the other things I can do corrections, and I can make things brighter if they're bright or darker if they're dark. Color, I can actually come and change the color. So it's like doing an overlay of color, or I can make it black and white, or even different kind of cutout effects. I'm just going to Just keep it black and white. Okay. Transparency. And then these artistic effects are different things that we can do as well. I'm not going to worry too much. I might do that, but we'll come and see what other pictures that we're going to add to this. So let's come back and look for some other pictures that are going to work. Let's grab this guy. So what I'm trying to do is make what looks like an ensemble of pictures. So I'll copy that image, paste it, and do the same thing. Come to picture format, go away designer, picture format, remove background. It's done a fairly decent job, but hasn't got the bottom part. Some of the guitars missing. A little bit of his arm. A little bit there. Remove a little bit down here. We'll see what it does. Now it's taken away some of the guitar. So you really do have to play a little bit just to get everything the way that you want. And that's not too bad. So let's keep those changes. Oh, now it's cut off part of his hat. So I can come back into remove background and come back and alter it. Okay. Keep changes. I'm going to put that down. Okay. And then once again, I'll come to my artistic effects. I might do that artistic effect. Let's get that back to standard color. And we'll do a couple more quickly. Once again, copy image. Paste. Picture format. Remove background. Refine it. Give us your ear and your hair. And the saxophone and the hand. And a little bit of hair up here. That's not too bad, except we've got this box over here, so let's mark that area to remove. There we go. Keep those changes. Going to make that smaller. And let's make him come the other way. From over here a bit. So obviously characters that are smaller are further away, so we can actually send a picture backwards to get them in behind. And let's go artistic effects again. And let's chuck in one more. Here we go, here's a nice ensemble. And so last time, I'm going to come in, picture format, go away designer, remove background, and just refine. as I said, sometimes you just got to play around, get all the refinement done properly, and it should be cool. I'll keep changes. It's not perfect, but it doesn't need to be. Once again, I'll start sending that backwards. Making this one a little bit bigger, but I'll bring them forward. And artistic effects. There we go. So if I want, I can come through and do other things like color, give them different colors or the same color if I want. If it's all gone bung, I can just click on reset picture and it'll reset the whole thing. But I'm just going to keep these, the colors that they were. And now the background, I'm going to right click on a blank space around the slide, okay, and choose format background. Now I'm going to do a gradient fill, and here a gradient is just shades of color. So I'm going to go from a light blue. Okay, so this one is the top. Let's make that darker. And then a light blue down below. So each one of these where I'm sliding is actually a point in the gradient. Got to wet it. Thanks for chickening in, so we can actually have more points. So I just clicked and created another point, so I can go darker to lighter to darker. You can get that even a bit lighter still. It just creates a little bit of shade in that gradient. Okay, and let's do some text now. So I'm going to come to insert. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to actually create a new slide for this, and I'll get rid of everything that's on that slide because it's going to be tricky grabbing everything, or grabbing all the text layers that I'm going to do when I've got all of these layers, and it's tricky enough trying to grab these ones, knowing which one you're grabbing. So I'll do it on a different slide, even though we're not going to use this. Okay. I'm just going to do the gradient fill just so I can actually see the text, because lots of the text that I'm going to create is going to be white. I'll insert text box. I'll just drag a text box, and I'm going to choose a nice big bold font. Yeah. Let's make it nice and big. A bit too big because it's not. There we go. I'll center it. I'm not going to worry too much about this color at the moment, but what I am going to do is, now that I've got it, I'm going to copy it and V. So Control C to copy and Control V to paste. And I'm going to make a copy of it, and I'll change this color white. So this is just an example of being a bit creative with fonts. Okay. And we can do things like that where we're creating specific kind of shading with fonts just by overlaying a couple together. If I was doing an 80s one, I might have browns and oranges and do like 3. As you kind of look at that. So let's try that. Let's grab that. I'm going to click and hold and slide so it grabs all 3 layers. And then I'm going to do a Control G and it's going to group those layers up. So it becomes like one bit of text. I'll Control X to cut it. It puts it in my clipboard, and then Control V to paste. And I'll chuck that in there. I'm going to layer it purposely so that it's kind of, let's make it bigger still. Kind of covering them, and then I'm going to arrange and send to the back. Now, if we go full page, there's my poster. And it would be hard for anyone to say that straight away that was done in PowerPoint. Right? But if I also wanted, like, I can delete that now. If I wanted, say it's a poster for my band, I can then insert something like a shape, put something in here. Live. Monday the 6th. And suddenly I've got myself a band poster. Kia ora Matariki. Thanks for checking in. And Shah. Sorry I didn't see you, Shah. And who else? Jaden. Thanks all for checking in. So now I've done my poster. I want to export it, and I don't want a PowerPoint. I'm not going to take that and share it on social media and that. So what I'll do is I'll actually come in File, I'll export, and then I can choose to change file type. And here I've got my options of PNG, so Portable Network Graphics, and JPEG. The difference between the two is that JPEG will lose quality the number of times it's saved. PNG files won't lose quality. They're usually slightly higher file sizes, but I would choose PNG files as much as possible. So I'll choose PNG, I'll save it, and then it's going to save to my documents, and I'll call it Band Poster Demo. And I can choose all slides or just this slide, doesn't matter because there's only one. And then let's come to my documents, and here's my image. A3 size, ready to print. So, really, really easy to create graphics with PowerPoint. We'll show you another little thing. Let's get rid of that. say we want to, I might save that. Say we want to make a banner for Facebook. Okay. I'm going to come and I'll just Google Facebook banner size in centimeters. Okay. Facebook cover photo, 31.5 centimeters wide, 12.4 centimeters tall. Okay. So once again, let's bring up PowerPoint. Come to Design, Slide Size, Custom, and here I can put in those values. So 31.5 width, 1.5, and height 12.4. Okay. Go OK. Once again, maximize or ensure fit, it doesn't matter. And here we've got the size for a Facebook cover photo. So we can make any size that we want and use all of those kind of skills to create a banner or create a graphic. In fact, let's have a look to see what we can do here. I'm going to come to insert. Okay, thanks. Don't want that. I'm going to insert a shape. Okay, and it's just going to be a shape like this. Actually, yeah, let's go like that. But we'll put it over here. I'm going to, while that shape is selected, I'm going to come up to the top left and there's an option for edit shape. Okay, and we can change the shape to a different type of shape or edit the points. I'm just going to edit points and I'm going to grab that corner and I'm going to drag it out just to create kind of a funky angle. Make that a little bit bigger. And then I'm going to put a picture in here. Let's come back to Pixabay and let's use this picture again. Copy image. Now here, shape fill, I'm going to come and choose picture. Actually, I'm not going to do it that way because I just want to paste it. So let's come to format background. It just brings up this sidebar. And now when I click the shape, this is changed to the shape. So I'm going to picture or texture fill and then go clipboard. Okay, it squashed it up a bit. So I've got to play around to get the offset. Okay. And I'm just going to put that there. Once again, even though that's a picture in a shape, I can still adjust it. Let's get that color a bit brighter. Okay. Now the shape, I'm going to come to shape format, shape outline. I don't want a shape outline. Okay. I'm going to make a copy of that shape now. Control C, Control V. So I've got two copies of it. The reason I want to do that is I want to change it from being a picture fill to just being a solid fill. And I'll change the color. Let's do that. And let's put that in behind. So I'll send that backwards. Okay. I'm going to copy it again, Control V, or Control C, and then Control V to copy it again. I'll change the color again, and then send backwards so it's behind. Okay. And then on my full background, I'm going to do, not picture, solid fill. And let's do something like that. Now what I can also do with these shapes here, I'm just using geometry basically to create an interesting look. I can create some extra separation from them by also coming to here and choosing shadow. And I'm going to get a shadow here. I'm going to make the angle, about 180. I'll change the color of the shadow, make it a light, so we can see we've got a shadow coming up. I can change the size of it, make it blurrier, so make it faded out. Okay. So that one, I'm going to do a shadow as well. And change the angle, change the colors. Do that a little bit differently. Let's down. And then finally that one, we'll do a shadow as well, but that's going to be a dark one. Okay. And I'll just press F5 just to see what that looks like as a graphic. So we're not seeing all of the outside stuff, but we've created some nice geometry to, to make it look interesting. Okay. And then I can put anything over the other side. So just being creative, that's what I mean about being creative with graphics and what we can do and trying different things. We can create some really cool results. Now we can do this in other programs too. I'm not saying that PowerPoint's the only one that can do this. I'm just saying that if that's a tool we've got available to us, it's a lot more powerful than just making presentations. And that's what this whole month is for. Okay. Last one I'm going to do is creating like a birthday banner, inviting people to a birthday. So let's come to a new slide. Let's come back to Pixabay, and I'm just going to rainbow background. And here, I don't want to be photos, I want to be illustrations. Okay. And let's get something really colorful like that. I'm going to copy that image. I'm going to choose picture or texture fill. So once again, let's just do this. I'll come to format background, picture texturable clipboard. I'm going to play with the offsets. Because I want the rainbow. And the picture that we copied isn't in the same kind of shape as this. Okay. Now I'm going to insert a shape again. I'm going to choose a circular shape and I'll make it fairly big. And here I'm going to do a gradient fill. And I'm going to change what kind of gradient this is, because at the moment it's linear. So the gradient goes in a line. I'm going to change this to radial. Radial goes from a center out. And direction, I'm going to put that in the middle. This gives the idea of more of a balloon kind of shape. And then I'm also going to do, actually the line around it is fine because it's kind of cartoony anyway. But I can change the outline. If I didn't want an outline, I could do that. But let's keep that outline. Let's make it a little bit thicker. So I'm going to come to weight and make it 3. Now, if I had a picture that I was willing to share of someone, kid. Here we go. Here's a picture. I'm going to use this one. So I'm going to copy it. Actually, before I copy it, what I need to do is I need to take this shape and I need to copy that. So I'm going to Control C and Control V. Then I'll copy the picture, copy image. And then I'm going to come here and do picture or texture fill and go clipboard. Okay. Now I'm going to put it over the top of that one. Okay. And I'm going to come and drag the transparency down. That way we're starting to see that thing through it. And I can also come to my so there we're creating kind of like a balloon shape. Now I want to make these two shapes joined up. So once again, I'm going to click outside, hold and drag. So I cover both those pictures. Both those pictures are now selected and I can do a Control G to group them. That means it becomes one picture. And if I resize it, okay, it'll resize both of them together. Okay. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to do a couple of other things really quickly. I'm going to come back to Insert, Shape. Let's come down to, I'm sure we've got a little ribbon shape or a bow. Let's do that. I'm going to put that there. I'm going to change the fill to that. Outline a little bit lighter. And then I'm going to come back to Insert, Shape again. And I'm going to choose one of these shapes. And I'm just going to come from here, drag down there, drag, click to there, and then double click. So what I'm doing is I'm kind of creating a string of a balloon. I'll grab my bow, put it over top, resize however I want. Grab that, put it where I want. I can even grab that and the string and spin it around a little bit. Now we can use the arrow keys too. So I'm just using the arrow keys just to nudge the little bow. And then I'll grab this and I want to bring forward. So I want it in front of the string and I'm just going to click on the string again, shape, outline, weight, and I'll make that 3 as well. And then finally, let's have some fun with some text. So insert, text box. I can do word art. I'm going to try and find a funky font. That looks cool. Happy, not happy birthday, Patty. Goody go. Let's make it bold and let's make it nice and big. Now, what else can we do with this? Let's try something that may or may not work. I'm going to Control C, Control V this text. I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to make it white. Okay. Then I'm going to copy that, Control C, Control V again, and I'm going to just offset it a little. So what I do when I offset, I'm just going to come and layer over the top and then just use my arrow keys to go arrow left one, arrow down one. Control V again to paste, lay it over the top, arrow across one, arrow down one. And I'm going to do this a few times. And all I'm doing is creating a bit of 3D text. And let's grab this now. Let's arrange, bring to front, and pop it over there. Once again, let's click on a blank space, drag, try not to get the balloon, but get all the text, and then a Control G. Now it's all grouped together. Oh, except for that last one. That's all right. We can do without that. So it's all about kind of that creativity that we bring and trying different things. And once again, I want to save this as a picture that I can then put as a Facebook banner. So I'm going to come File, Export, change file type, JPEG or PNG. I'll go PNG. Save as, Burrito, and save just the slide. And here's my picture. And I can come to Facebook and put that as my banner now. So that's kind of playing around with graphics in PowerPoint. Once again, all of these skills you can use for presentations, but you can use PowerPoint in so many more different ways. And yeah, once again, that's what this month's all about. So I hope that was enjoyable and something a little bit different. I'm back. Yeah. Let me know if you want those files. I'm happy to save those files and share them, and anyone can grab them and do whatever they like with them. So let me know if you want that, and I'll share them here. Next week, we're kind of mid-semester at the Wānanga, so I might be traveling just with the whānau because it's school holidays as well. So I'm not going to have a live stream next week, but I am going to put up a video that I'll pre-record, and it's actually using PowerPoint to do a CV. So my CV is all done in PowerPoint, and so I just want to show you how you can do that, how it can look professional, and use some of the features in PowerPoint to help enhance your CV and make it stand out a little bit. And then the week after that, we are looking, and I did put it, I can't even remember, but I did post the kind of schedule for July. We do have some prizes this month too, so be sure to chicken in on all of our live streams, or chicken in on any video or anything that we post really, and we'll put you in the draw for a couple of prizes that we've got. And yeah, hopefully that was fun. Please, as normal, feedback, anything that you want, ideas, or whether you like stuff or not, or whether it's too long, too short, all that kind of stuff. I've timed these PowerPoint ones specifically to hopefully capture some of our tauira in specific programs that need to design posters or infographics, kind of interactive presentations that can be useful for people that work in schools, or even if you're creating kind of activities for your tamariki. There's some things that we can do, like learning activities we're going to be doing later in the month. yeah, and just try and push PowerPoint to its limits, and have a bit of fun doing it. So thank you very much for joining us. I really appreciate all the people that have checked in and chickened in and joined the live stream. For those who are watching rerun, thanks for watching. Be sure to let us know how we're doing. And once again, finally, I'm going to just put in the chat again our form, even though we've kind of changed our days till Wednesday already. After I've got some really cool questions, because the last question there is any questions you have about AI. So I've got some really good responses from there. But the more that we have, the more I can design something, and we'll be doing that early in August, session on AI. I just have to ensure whatever I show is consistent with Wānanga policy or guidance, which should be coming out at some stage, or it's not going against it. So yeah, thanks very much. Have an awesome evening. I'm going to be eating my Afghan that wifey made yesterday, and yeah, we'll see you 2 weeks time. Yeah, have a good one. Ka kite, everybody. Hey, kona. Outro video. Outro video. Gotta do it all the time. And it was fun.